I'm Greg Serio, the host of your show, The People of Manufacturing. My show, The People of Manufacturing, has 3 focus points. 1, first and foremost, our community. Our second focus is to highlight the industry and the challenges they see and the stigmas that are behind them. We want to debunk the myths. We want to show you what manufacturing really means in our communities here in America. And our third focus is an entrepreneur side. Every person that solves a problem is also an engineer. The definition of engineering is just problem solving. So we're showing you what these local problem solvers are doing to find what their skill set is and take new products to market under badass inventions. The community focus of our first episode comes from South St. Pete. This community has a task force dedicated to reducing the rate of poverty by 30% by the year 2020. It's important that you see and understand what's going on so you can replicate this success in your hometowns. And this is one highlight that we are very proud of, and we can't wait to show you more. So let's check in with Rich at Second Chance Tiny Homes.
Hi, my name is Rich Alvarez. I'm the Director of Workforce Development for PERC. PERC is about a 30-year-old program that helps people that are coming back from prison to re-enter society. We offer a number of services, everything from transitional housing to workforce development to classes in substance abuse. We're here at one of our transitional housing facilities where the tiny home students are practicing some of the construction skills that they've learned at Pinellas Technical College as part of our construction trades program.
I was at a career fair. I saw a little clipboard down there where you could sign your name on. I put my name down. Before I knew it, 2 weeks later, I was interviewing for a position with Second Chance Tiny Homes. Through that, I went into the STARS program, became a graduate of that, and upon completion of Second Chance Tiny Homes project, me as well as 2 other of my co-workers were hired on to be supervisors and mentors in the project. It's an absolutely incredible feeling. I'm able to wake up every morning now with hope, with passion, with knowing that there's a calling on my life to do something great. And that feeling was recognized through this program. And the fact that this program is going to be able to continue, the fact that this program is going to do the same thing for somebody else that it did for me, there's just no greater feeling than that.
When I got to see PERC in action for the first time, I was just kind of blown away by the amount of community that's surrounding there. I left with fire. I could feel the energy in the room off of a whole bunch of people that just wanted to better themselves. They're fighting for that second chance, and they fight harder than anyone else I've met throughout this journey.
I have just loved Greg ever since I met him. He is just an awesome guy, and his energy and his passion, it just eludes from him. You know, I'm telling you, he was so passionate, he made me want to get a career in manufacturing, and I'm a social worker.
Terica specifically, she does an amazing job getting them amped up about bettering themselves, so it immediately got my buy-in that much more just by meeting her that day.
I met Greg at a conference put on by CareerSource about the manufacturing industry. It's an industry we've been looking to break into for a while. We've identified a couple of key industries like construction and manufacturing. So Greg and I ended up hitting it off. We were talking back and forth. It seemed like Greg had a heart to really try to help people change their lives. And I really enjoyed talking to him. I enjoyed the model that he shared with me. It's a competency-based model, which we really liked because it's hands-on. Many of the folks that come through here are more experiential learners than they are classroom learners. And to be able to actually go right into the workforce at no cost to us, no cost to the client, that the company pays for that, and that they get a job that they're getting paid for to learn and acquire a new and valuable skill and to fill that void in the marketplace, I think was extremely attractive.
He was telling us all about the robotic arm and the CNC machine and how the world of manufacturing is in need, high demand for people to work it, and they're feeling friendly. So this was just like, aha, like a gift from God. Like, what? Here's a guy that wants our people, you know, the people that we try to push and motivate and tell them to believe in themselves and there's still a chance. This is proof that you can still have a meaningful, successful career and make good money.
It's so much more powerful when you set the bar for success. when you set the bar for using and taking opportunities put in front of you?
You know, it's just an amazing opportunity for all of you guests and visitors out there. If you know anybody that needs another chance, that needs an opportunity to shine, to show who God made them to be, to recognize the potential that's on their life, you know, I ask you please to tell them about this program, because to be completely honest, it changed my life. Thank you guys again for coming out here. Thank you to our instructors, to Heather, to Rich, Mike, Mr. Rubin, everybody that really made this thing possible.
Accountability is probably one of the most difficult things to teach this population. Many of them are used to blaming everybody else for their misfortunes instead of taking responsibility for what they did. It's one of the key characteristics of the STARS program that we teach them.
We're training people to basically be passionate about the work that they do. And so that's going to benefit employers that hire these people. You know, they're not going to just be there for a paycheck. You know, we're training them to not just take any old job, any mediocre job. Even though you are a felon, you don't have to settle for the bottom of the barrel mediocre jobs. Still go after your dream job. And then once an employer gives them a chance, that person is more likely to hold on to that job for dear life. First of all, because they've experienced the struggle. And second of all, because we've trained them to go after your passion, whatever that might be.
You can envision with me right now, it's going to take a little bit of hard work, but we can envision the kitchen, okay, where we're going to have our fridge and our stove, have our sink right here, cabinets wrapping all the way around, nice trim work around the window. It's going to be beautiful. Just picture it with me for a second. Beautiful.
There's one gentleman that comes to mind, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Jones, he was in a lot of trouble in Ohio. Actually, he probably came through the same prison that I was working in at the time. He committed a very serious offense. I don't want to get into his personal situation. However, he was just fresh out of doing 25 years in prison when he got here. He was one of the first classes of STARS. His attitude when he started was terrible. It was still very much the prison mentality. He was an angry person. And so we helped him through that. And Tim comes back all the time. He's working now. He's seeking to elevate himself even further and find a better job than what he's got now. He's got the most positive attitude. I've seen him grow as a person, and I consider him an extreme success story.
When you're going for job interviews, everybody does the interview process. I never knew how to do that, and that was always a daunting thing for me. I was like, what am I going to say? They don't want to, you know. But now when I go into interviews, I go in with a little bit of confidence. You know, I'm a little more sure of myself, and the questions they throw at me, and I can talk, and it's just like I'm relaxed. And normally when I go into places, people like me. They like me right away. I like me. So.
He spent 25 years in prison. He's from when he was 15 years old. So, and they threw him in an adult prison in Ohio. They tried him as an adult, and he spent 25 years in prison.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to think of that.
Yeah.
PERC has inspired me to go to college. So I'm going to SPC in the summer. So, yeah. I'm going to college. I'll be the first person in my family.
So what company wouldn't want motivated people like that? People who understand the value of work ethic, you know, because they've been told no so many times. So when they get that one yes, they're going to give it 1,000% because one company believed in them and gave them a chance to be who they were destined to be because they're following their dreams and following their passion. You know what I'm saying?
It's real important to share the information because there's so much to learn. And I'm also learning more. So the more that I'm learning, the more that I'm going to teach out and teach other people so they can learn more.
You know, through this program at Second Chance Tiny Homes, it gave me the ability to believe in myself because before I got to that point, they believed in me. Through that now, I've gotten the books to start studying for my general contractor's license. I'm looking into that to get different things expunged from poor decisions I've made in my past so that that can become a reality. I see myself in the future owning my own nonprofit, Fostering Hope, where I can essentially provide on-the-job training for people just coming out of prison to help them transition into that lifestyle where they don't have to return back to the same methods of making money they were in the past.
Helping others, I feel good about doing it and seeing the change in them and in our community.
The benefit of the tiny homes project to this area of South St. Petersburg, which is the highest concentration of poverty in Pinellas County, is that it will be used for homeless veteran housing, which will also be an upgrade to some of the housing in the neighborhood. It'll allow for them to become a part of the community. There will also be supportive services for the homeless veterans, so that they'll be able to function and to deal with the issues that they have to deal with. And eventually they'll be able to own one of the tiny homes if they so choose. It will be given to them at the end of a lease period.
Cool. What you've done for the last 15 weeks, helping build houses for people, for Habitat for Humanity, helping finish transitional houses for people in transition, that can change the world. And I hope for you that what you've experienced here will help change your world. Thank you. Congratulations.
I changed my behavior. When I changed my behavior, I changed my performance. When I changed my performance, I changed my life.
For all the people at PERC, thank you for what you do. We truly can't imagine the community without you. For more information on PERC, or if you want to replicate this in your community, go to www.exoffender.org. Now let's check in with future machinist and member of the People of Manufacturing, Vishal Vellody. Greg Serio here with the People of Manufacturing, speaking with Vishal Vellody, apprentice at Electromechanical Solutions in Odessa, Florida. How do you feel?
I feel great. You know, I first started out in managing a wood workshop, and now I actually get to go in the field I want to be in, and I've stepped into an actual machine shop where they do automated machining with CNCs and laser cutters, and it's what I want to do in the future, and I'm learning a lot there.
Tell me more about what you've learned with Bill.
Bill Miller, I work a lot with him. He's the quality assurance engineer there, and what I do is quality assurance, and I take the engineering drawings, and after parts come out from the machines, we have routers, and then every single little step that we take with the machines, we have to check, and that's how we guarantee quality for our clients.
So walk me through an example of what you learned prior through First Robotics and how it can relate to something that you now know from the last 2 weeks, just the last 2 weeks of you being there. Can you give me a relatable example of how that works and how you were able to learn quickly based on that?
So with my robotics team that Edgar Allen owns, a lot of the mechanical engineers, and I'm trying to get all the students now, especially now that we have the software solid professor, what we're trying to do is get every single one of our students to get an associate certification in SolidWorks. Myself, I worked over the summer and I got my professional certification, and it really helped because in SolidWorks you learn how to make 3D model, how to read sketches, how to make everything fully defined, and then take it, your file, put it in a 3D printer, and that gives you an idea of how it's used in the real world. And what I'm trying to do is get all the students to get their associate's degree so they can use that in the future too.
So you're still involved with the First Robotics team?
I'm still involved. I'm a mentor, and I plan on continuing being a mentor and then maybe pass the mantle down to them.
Oh, that's incredible. We're all really impressed and we're all really proud of you and your progress. Is there anything else you'd like to finish with before we check back in with you in a couple weeks?
Well, I still have a lot more left to learn, and I'll keep you guys updated.
To follow Vishal's progress, keep checking back in with us, and for more information, visit us at thepeopleofmanufacturing.com. Thank you. If the purpose of the People of Manufacturing is to reset the value of skilled trade, we want to show you what it takes to become a real welder. We want to show you what it takes to become a real machinist. We want to show you what it means to have robots on a manufacturing plant floor and the jobs that are created because of it. On how it's allowed a manufacturer to reduce their bottom line and hire more high dollar wage positions and train from within on things that you would never learn at school. So these robots are creating new jobs in different areas, and we want to show you how and the biggest difference between man versus robot.
Greg Serio here with the people of manufacturing here in front of Sonny's, the car wash factory, here to talk to Kenny Partanen about robots in manufacturing. Is it taking jobs or is it creating jobs? We're here to find the truth. Let's go.
Robots are the future.
Kenny Partanen.
I'm the second shift shop supervisor here, and I think you're going to learn that there's a lot less skill required to utilizing the robot than you think. It's really easy. However, there's certainly a lot of skill when it comes to manual welding, and you're going to be really, really blown away by what you find.
So integrating robotics in your manufacturing process actually creates new high-paying jobs for the manufacturer. It also allows for accountability and new job creation, because after each one of these pieces of aluminum extrusion turns into a car wash and it's shipped out of here, it's creating new jobs after it leaves. So let me ask you, does robots replace the job, or does the robot help create jobs?
You need to weld something?
Am I?
There are switches on the back. They're called dead man switches. They are to prevent you from being a dead man. Imagine that.
Much appreciated, sir.
They're 3-position switches. So no matter what I press over here, nothing will happen unless I'm holding one of these switches. I did say it was a 3-position switch, so this is 1 position. The middle is the 2nd position. Squeezing too tight is the 3rd position. So, what do most people do when they panic? They clinch up.
Scream.
They scream, they clinch up, they cry, whatever. I need to hold this in the middle to operate this robot. If this is crushing me, I'm being electrocuted, I will clinch and the robot will stop, the electricity will stop, all that stuff will stop happening. So this is a very important safety mechanism.
So in
the robot.
In the event our robot overlords take over, that's how we get them to stop?
We either let go or squeeze the crap out.
Okay, got it.
So you'll notice when I hold this dead man switch in the middle, my red lights go away, all the alarms disappear. When I let go, I have an alarm again. Right? I'm holding it, everything goes good. I squeeze too hard, I get more alarms. You should practice. I like to use my left hand because I'm going to actually have to hold the shift button at the same time. So I have to hold the dead man switch, hold shift, and we're going to tap forward to make this robot start moving. It's going to start executing that program.
Greg Serio here, and I'm about to go man versus robot. So what do I do now, Kenny?
Watch it weld.
Can I let go?
When you let go, it stops.
Ah.
All right, stop. Keep going. How did he do?
That's awesome, Kenny.
Here at Sonny's, they employ over 200 people, and they're growing, and they can't find people to fill their jobs because of the skill level that goes into it. So it's harder to integrate more robots, even though the robot just wants to help.
Now that we finished on the robotic welding arm with Kenny, we're over here in cell number 3 of 20 to show you what a skilled welder is doing here at Sonny's, the car wash factory. Let's go check in with Kenny, see if he's ready.
You're going to have some fun. You're going to take this torch and you're going to be 45 degrees in between these two joints, right? And the torch is going to be tilted forward a little bit. It's called a push angle. That way the gas can get in front of that molten puddle and make it all nice and pure, so that way your puddle stays nice. So you're not going to want to drag this way, you're going to want to push into it.
So kind of like this?
Yes.
But?
Yep, you can go, pause, go, pause, go, pause to make your ripples, and that'll work just fine.
Alright, let's try this.
You can do a little bit and then stop and evaluate and try another little bit, go down the line.
So just pull the trigger and then go.
Pull the trigger and electricity will start. Let go, it'll stop. So you pulled out. Just don't pull the torch out. You can let go of the trigger and keep it there. But you're pretty close.
All right.
There you go.
Let's try this again.
So you can see you're in there. It's not like the whole part isn't melting. That's fine, but you need to be really consistent all the way along there to make it look uniform.
Got it.
It's certainly a skill that's developed and acquired with a lot of practice to develop the consistency along that weld joint.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the ones in here. It just looks like a straight line.
Yep.
Those guys have been doing this for, I can see. All right.
It's a weld.
It's a weld.
What was this first one and the second one?
First, second, third.
That was rad. I'm going to take all this gear off to ask Kenny a couple questions about what it takes to become a welder. So on all of the big components of the car wash, the human definitely wins that battle because they can actually reach and move, maneuver and think and find all those different nooks and crannies that you would have had to program the robot arm to do.
Certainly. A human needs to be involved all the time, even in robot welding. So if I were to try to make one of these larger components with a robot, I need to be able to assemble those parts together, hold them there, program the robot to produce those welds, and then I need to get the material off the robot to put more material on. There's just such a huge undertaking from the material handling standpoint that it makes sense for us to have a human assemble the job on horses, weld it, move it out to the aisle, send it out to the wash area, and it's a really quick process compared to the whole lengthy process of making that happen from an automation standpoint.
Got it. So to become a welder, what credentials or certifications are you looking for when you're in the hiring process?
I'm looking for somebody who is certified with the AWS to explain that they do know how to actually weld, how to use the equipment, they're familiar with the tools and the PPE necessary. However, if somebody has just gone through a simple certification and they don't even have any experience, we're very willing to hire them as well because we do a lot of training here. We work with Lincoln Electric, we work with our more experienced guys, and they bring our guys up to the level that they need to be the best in the industry to make parts that are high quality, that are 100% warranted to our customers, and well, really good product.
No, I really appreciate you taking the time. I'm just kind of blown away of what you guys do here on a daily basis anyway. But for you to take the time to show us that difference, I mean, there's a huge value, especially if you're watching, understanding that there's 3 different jobs we just talked about. Your welder, your robot programmer, and your robot operator, which could lead into many more other positions. So, thanks, Kenny.
You're welcome.
For more information on building car washes, go to sunnysdirect.com.
Robots are the future.
On today's Badass Invention, we're checking in with Ryder Fitzpatrick, manufacturing engineering extraordinaire. Ryder's been one of those standouts that has been a serial inventor because he just solves people's problems through inventing. So we want to highlight him and his success at 19 years old to hopefully be his launch pad to use this for success, where he's showing us our very first badass invention, the electric longboard. Do you know what an electric longboard is? Because we're going to show you today on Badass Invention.
Okay, so this is my electric longboard, just a little hobby project, and today we are going to be cutting a new cover for the electronics out of this 316 stainless steel. So this part is specifically a new cover. There's normally 3 batteries and then my motor controller under here. And these batteries are LiPos, so if I'm going along and something punctures it, I don't really want to have a little fireball shooting out from underneath me. So that's why I decided to make that out of stainless. Yeah, I've been working on this project for a while, slowly but surely, so it's going to be pretty exciting, especially to see it on such a big laser. We just got it set up in the laser, the program, and it's running. Time to hit the rock and roll button.
This is the rock and roll button?
I think it's rocking and rolling.
Now you ready? We're rolling.
So this part that was just cut out on the Amada CNC laser is now moving over to Eddie's world. So Eddie is now going to take this part and bend it to where the precision bends are going to be to make it a final part for Ryder's electric longboard.
It's funny to be so heavily involved in building a part and all I'm doing is watching. You know, it's weird to watch somebody else make your part for you. As a machinist, it makes me feel lazy. As an entrepreneur, man, I'm learning a lot. And also as a machinist, I'm learning a lot because I don't know much about sheet metal.
Okay, so here's how this system works. We have 3 battery packs. None of them are wired together. They're all individual. I just don't ride it long enough distance for that to matter to me. The batteries run into this relay right here. We have our push button switch here. Basically a low voltage turns on this or switches this relay to allow the full voltage to go through into the ESC, which is the electronic speed controller, motor controller. I believe this one's actually for a boat, and it seemed to work the best for my price range. That ESC has a little cable coming off of right here, which goes into the receiver, which is connected to its transmitter. And then out of the ESC, there's the 3 motor wires, as this is a brushless outboard motor. So out of the ESC, we have 3 motor wires that go into this motor because it's brushless. I did take apart this brushless motor, and I had a bushing that I could not get back inside, so it does have a little bit of a wobble. To hold the bottom plate on, I went with the I went after what semi-trucks do, which is basically it's a rubber pole, and just hooks up and around. Very simple. Slide this guy on here, pull that guy up, bam, locked in place. Do that on the front, and we're done. That's basically how it works. It's pretty simple. It's just like your basic RC car. It's exactly the same. You got motor, electronic speed controller, transmitter, receiver. The only extra electronics on here is just this relay, just because I wanted to use this little switch. Also, you can see this nut on this switch. I lost the one that was on there, and it didn't really fit very well. So on the lathe one night, I knocked that guy out. It's a M1.5 millimeter thread. It took a little while there just to get it to fit perfectly, but it came out quite nicely, and I don't think I'll be losing that one.